Every woman has the power to design her life with habits that not only strengthen her confidence, but also raise her standards. These are not just routines, they are daily practices that shape how you show up for yourself and how the world responds to you. If you've ever wondered what makes certain women stand out with elegance, discipline, and influence, it's not luck. It's habits. Today, I'm sharing 16 daily habits every woman must master to live with clarity, control, and confidence. When the alarm goes off in the morning, you've got two choices. Either you take control of the day, or the day takes control of you. And for most people, the first thing they reach for is their phone. Notifications, texts, emails, news, alerts, it's all screaming for your attention before your feet even hit the floor. And if you're not careful, you've already lost the day before it even begins. Because instead of starting with intention, you started with distraction. Let me tell you something. The way you start your morning sets the rhythm for everything that follows. If you start chaotic, you stay chaotic. If you start reactive, you stay reactive. But if you start with clarity, if you start with a decision about who you're going to be today, then you lead yourself instead of being led. That's what morning clarity is about. It's not complicated. It doesn't take 2 hours of meditation or a perfectly scripted routine. It's a choice to pause, to breathe, to set the tone. Here's the mistake a lot of people make. They think mornings are just about rushing. Rushing to get ready, rushing out the door, rushing into responsibility. And in that rush, they miss the chance to anchor themselves. But the truth is, the first 10 minutes of your day hold more power than the next 10 hours. Because that's when your brain is fresh. That's when your energy is clean. That's when you decide, am I leading or am I following? So here's what morning clarity looks like. You wake up and instead of grabbing the phone, you sit up. You put your feet on the ground and you take a second to breathe. That one breath, it's not just air. It's a reminder you're alive, you're capable, and you've got another chance today to do it right. Then you ask yourself one simple question: what do I want out of today? Not what the world wants from me, not what everybody else is demanding. What do I want? Maybe it's peace. Maybe it's productivity. Maybe it's patience. Whatever it is, name it, speak it, and let that word guide you. Because when you give your brain a direction, it listens, and when you don't, it wanders. Now, I know what some people are thinking. I don't have time for all this. My mornings are too busy. Let me stop you right there. This isn't about adding more to your plate. This is about taking control of the plate you already have. Morning clarity doesn't take an hour. It takes awareness. It's the difference between rushing blindly and moving intentionally. One wastes energy. The other directs it. Let's talk about the phone again, because this one matters. When you open your notifications, first thing in the morning, you're basically handing over your mental steering wheel to somebody else. That email, it decides your mood. That text, it decides your focus. That headline, it decides your stress. And before you've even brushed your teeth, you're reacting to the world instead of creating your world. You want to know why so many people feel drained before the day even starts? That's why. But flip the script. You wake up, and instead of checking in with the world, you check in with yourself. You drink some water. You stretch your body. You write down 3 priorities. Now you're leading. Now you're clear? And here's the part nobody talks about. Clarity creates confidence. When you know where you're going, you stop second guessing every little thing. You stop wasting time on nonsense. You stop giving your best energy to the wrong things. And as a woman, that matters because every distraction that pulls you away from your goals is energy stolen from your future. Morning clarity is also about boundaries. You decide what gets your attention and what doesn't. And trust me, not everything deserves your attention. Not every text deserves an instant reply. Not every notification deserves to be opened. When you set boundaries with your mornings, you're teaching yourself discipline. You're reminding yourself, my time, my mind, my energy, they belong to me first. And let's be honest, when you start your morning with clarity, the rest of the day feels lighter. That coworker's bad attitude doesn't hit you as hard. That traffic jam doesn't throw you off. That unexpected problem doesn't feel like the end of the world because you already decided who you were going to be today. You already anchored yourself. That's the power of intention. Think about it like this. A ship without a compass goes wherever the waves push it. Some days it drifts left, some days right, some days it just spins in circles. But a ship with a compass, it still faces waves, it still faces storms, but it knows where it's headed. Morning clarity is your compass. Without it, you're just reacting to whatever life throws at you. With it, you steer. Here's the challenge. Try it for 7 days, 7 mornings. No phone first, no autopilot. Just wake up, breathe, ask yourself what you want out of today, and move with that intention. I guarantee you'll feel the difference because clarity doesn't just change your mornings. It changes your entire life. And here's the final truth. Your mornings don't have to look like anybody else's. They don't have to be aesthetic. They don't have to be Instagram worthy. They just have to be intentional. Because clarity isn't about looking perfect. It's about being present, being aware, being in control. And that is something every woman deserves. So the question is simple. Tomorrow morning, are you going to start with distraction or are you going to start with clarity? One of those choices will drain you. The other will build you. Choose wisely. Self-care isn't about luxury. It's about discipline. It's not face masks and spa days. It's daily choices that say, I respect myself. I protect myself. I take care of the body and mind that carry me through this world. That's what real self-care looks like. And here's the truth. Discipline is the highest form of self-love. Because when you do what you need to do, even when you don't feel like it, you're building trust with yourself. And that trust, that's confidence. Think about how many women run on empty every day. They pour into everyone else, family, work, friends, until there's nothing left for themselves. They burn out, and then they wonder why they feel drained, resentful, or invisible. But here's the thing, if you don't make yourself a priority, nobody else will. Self-care isn't selfish. It's survival. And the discipline to practice it daily is what separates women who just get by from women who thrive. Let's start with the body. Your body is your first home, and if you don't take care of it, every other part of your life suffers. Self-care discipline here doesn't mean chasing some unrealistic image. It means moving your body every day. Maybe that's a workout. Maybe that's yoga. Maybe it's just a walk. But it's about consistency. Because when you move, you release stress You build energy. You strengthen the machine that carries you through everything else. Skipping it isn't just skipping exercise, it's skipping clarity, skipping strength, skipping resilience. Then there's food. What you put in your body is either fuel or poison. Discipline means paying attention. It means asking yourself, is this meal helping me or hurting me? You don't need perfection. You need awareness. Hydration, balanced meals, and treating your body like you actually care about it. Because if you wouldn't pour cheap gas into a luxury car, why pour junk into the body that's supposed to carry you to your goals? Now let's talk skin. Some people roll their eyes at skincare routines, but it's deeper than products. Taking care of your skin is about respect. It's about showing up for yourself with the same care you show up for others. Discipline here means cleansing, protecting, and being consistent. It doesn't take hours, but it does take commitment. Because when you look in the mirror and see a woman who takes care of herself, you send yourself a message, I matter. But the most overlooked piece of self-care, the mind. You can have glowing skin and a strong body, but if your mind is cluttered and chaotic, you'll feel empty. Mental balance comes from discipline too. It means unplugging from constant noise. It means journaling, meditating, or simply sitting in silence long enough to hear your own thoughts. It means checking in with yourself the same way you check in with others. Because if you don't process your emotions, they'll control you. If you don't give your mind rest, it will break down. Here's the problem. Too many people treat self-care like an option. Something they'll do if they have extra time. But let's be honest, when was the last time you had extra time? You don't, and you won't, which means self-care discipline isn't about waiting until it's convenient. It's about prioritizing it like you prioritize brushing your teeth. You don't skip brushing your teeth because you're tired. You don't skip it because you're busy. You do it because it's non-negotiable. That's how your body, your skin, and your mind should be treated. And here's what happens when you practice this discipline daily. You start to notice small shifts. You're calmer. You're stronger. You recover faster. You don't snap as easily. You don't drag through the day. That's not magic. That's maintenance. You're maintaining the very system that carries you through life. And the more you practice, the more you realize it's not about looking good for anyone else. It's about feeling good for yourself. Let me be clear. Self-care discipline is not always glamorous. Sometimes it's choosing water over soda. Sometimes it's going to bed instead of scrolling for another hour. Sometimes it's taking 10 deep breaths instead of saying something you'll regret. Sometimes it's putting on sunscreen when you don't feel like it. These choices don't look impressive in the moment, but over time, they build a foundation. A woman who makes these choices daily isn't just healthier, she's unshakable. And you know what else? Self-care discipline sets the standard for how others treat you. When you respect your body, people notice. When you protect your time, people notice. When you care for your mind, people notice. You're teaching the world this is the level of respect I expect because it's the level of respect I give myself. And once you set that standard, you stop tolerating less. Now, let's be real. There will be days when you don't feel like it. Days when you want to skip the routine, when you want to say, it doesn't matter. But those are the days that matter most, because Discipline isn't about what you do when it's easy. It's about what you do when it's hard. Every time you keep the promise to yourself, you build self-trust. And a woman who trusts herself is powerful. She doesn't need validation. She doesn't need permission. She knows who she is. So ask yourself, what does your daily self-care really look like? Is it rushed? Is it inconsistent? Is it at the bottom of your list? Or is it disciplined? Is it prioritized? Is it non-negotiable? Because how you answer that question tells you exactly how much respect you have for yourself. The truth is, self-care discipline doesn't take more time. It saves time. A healthy body saves you sick days. Clear skin saves you insecurity. A balanced mind saves you arguments, stress, and regret. It's an investment that pays you back every single day. So start small. Drink the water. Move your body. Wash your face. Breathe for 5 minutes. Do it daily. Do it when you don't feel like it. Do it until it's automatic, because one day you'll look back and realize this discipline, these simple habits, they didn't just take care of you. They transformed you. And that's the truth about self-care. It's not about pampering. It's about power. And the discipline to practice it every day, that's what makes a woman unstoppable. Boundaries are not walls. They're doors with locks. And the lock isn't there to keep everyone out. It's there to protect your peace, your time, and your energy. Too many women struggle with this because they've been taught to please, to accommodate, to say yes even when everything inside them is screaming no. But here's the truth. Every time you say yes to something you don't want, you're saying no to yourself. And that's a cost you cannot afford. Respect starts with you. People don't just magically respect your boundaries. They take cues from how you treat yourself. If you keep giving away your time freely, people will assume it has no value. If you let people talk over you, they'll assume your voice doesn't matter. If you allow constant disrespect, you're teaching them it's acceptable. Boundaries are the line that says, I matter, my time matters, my energy matters. And until you draw that line, people will keep crossing it. Saying no without guilt is one of the hardest habits to master, because guilt creeps in. You feel like you're letting someone down. You feel selfish. But think about it. How many times have you said yes out of guilt and ended up resentful, drained, or even angry? That's not kindness. That's dishonesty. You gave someone a yes, but it came at the expense of your peace. Real kindness, real generosity only comes from a place of fullness. And you can't be full if you're constantly giving away what you don't have. No is a full sentence. It doesn't require an explanation, a defense, or an apology. You don't have to justify why you don't want to do something. You don't have to write an essay about your schedule. You don't have to soften it with excuses. A simple, clear, no, I can't, is enough. And the moment you stop over explaining your no, you step into real authority. Because the people who respect you don't need your explanation, and the people who don't respect you won't care about it anyway. Now let's talk about saying yes. Because it's not just about no, it's about what you choose to give your energy to. Saying yes with purpose means your yes actually has weight. It means when you agree to something, you're fully in. You're present. You're committed. You're not half distracted or secretly wishing you were somewhere else. A purposeful yes adds value. A guilty yes drains it. Boundaries also mean understanding limits. Your time is not infinite. Your energy is not endless. If you don't protect them, you will burn out. And when you burn out, everyone loses. You lose yourself, and the people who actually matter to you lose the best version of you. Think of it like this. If your phone battery is at 2% and you keep saying yes to every app running in the background, what happens? The phone dies. And it doesn't matter how important the call was, how urgent the message was, nothing gets through because you didn't protect the battery. That's what happens when you live without boundaries. Some people won't like your boundaries. They'll call you selfish, difficult, or too much. But let's be honest, those are usually the people who benefited the most when you had none. They liked the version of you that gave endlessly, that bent over backward, that said yes to everything. And when you stop doing that, they lose the advantage. But that's not your problem. That's the price of finally respecting yourself. Here's the thing. Boundaries are not about pushing people away. They're about protecting the relationships that actually matter. When you say no to things that drain you, you create space to say yes to things that build you. You create space for real connection, real purpose, real joy. You stop resenting the people around you because the time you give them is intentional, not forced. Boundaries don't destroy relationships. They reveal which ones are worth keeping. And respect works both ways. When you set boundaries, you're also showing others how to set theirs. You're giving them permission to protect their own energy too. You're modeling what healthy relationships look like. That's powerful because respect is contagious. The more you give it to yourself, the more others will learn to give it to you, and the more they'll give it to themselves. But here's the challenge: boundaries take practice. At first, it feels uncomfortable. You'll second guess yourself. You'll wonder if you were too harsh. You'll feel that wave of guilt. But with time, it gets easier. The first no is hard. The 10th no is liberating. And one day, you'll look back and wonder why you ever felt guilty for protecting yourself in the first place. Boundaries are not rigid. They can change. Maybe what you needed last year isn't what you need now. Maybe a relationship that once drained you is now supportive. That's okay. Boundaries aren't set in stone. They're set in self-respect. And self-respect grows as you grow. Let me leave you with this. You cannot be everything to everyone. And the moment you stop trying, you get to be something powerful. You get to be yourself. Boundaries are not about being cold or distant. They're about being real, present, and intentional. Saying no without guilt, saying yes with purpose, and building a life that reflects respect, not just from others, but from yourself first. Because at the end of the day, here's the truth: if you don't respect your boundaries, nobody else will. And if you do, you'll find that people rise to meet the standard you set. And that standard, it's not just about them. It's about you, about the life you want, the peace you deserve, and the woman you're becoming. So ask yourself right now, where do you need to draw the line? Where do you need to start saying no? And where do you need to start saying yes? With purpose, with clarity, with respect? Answer that, and you'll unlock a level of power you didn't know you had. Money doesn't just buy things. Money buys options. It buys freedom. It buys choices. And the truth is, too many women are taught to let someone else handle it, to depend on a partner, to ignore the numbers, to live in the dark about their own finances. But when you do that, you hand over your independence. And independence isn't just about walking away if you need to. It's about standing tall because you know exactly where you stand. That's financial awareness. It starts simple, know your numbers. Too many people avoid looking at their bank account because it makes them uncomfortable. They spend, they swipe, they hope for the best. But avoidance is not a plan. Avoidance is debt. Avoidance is stress. Avoidance is waking up one day realizing you don't know how you got here. Awareness, on the other hand, is power. When you track your money daily, you take back control. You stop guessing. You start leading. Here's the thing, every dollar has a job. And if you don't assign it one, it will find one on its own. Usually through impulse buys, random subscriptions, or I deserve this, splurges that leave you wondering where your paycheck went. Mindful spending means every purchase passes through one filter: does this serve me or drain me? Not just in the moment, but long term. That new outfit might feel good for a night, but will it still feel good when your rent is due and your account is empty? That morning coffee isn't bad, but are you choosing it or is it choosing you out of habit? Awareness doesn't mean no joy. It means intentional joy. Joy you can afford. Joy that doesn't sabotage your future. And let's talk about budgeting, because for too long people treat the word like a punishment. A budget isn't restriction, it's direction. It's not saying you can't spend. It's saying, here's where your money is going, and here's why. A woman who budgets isn't broke. She's powerful. She knows what's coming in, what's going out, and what's building for tomorrow. That's not boring. That's freedom. Financial awareness also means facing debt head on. Hiding from bills doesn't make them smaller. Ignoring interest doesn't make it stop growing. The discipline to track, pay down, and live within your means is what separates women who are constantly stressed from women who sleep at night knowing they're secure. Because peace of mind is priceless, and you only get it when you face the numbers honestly. Now, here's the part most people don't talk about. Financial independence is not just about surviving, it's about choosing. It's the ability to leave a toxic job because you have savings. The ability to walk away from a bad relationship because you're not financially trapped. The ability to invest in your dreams, your education, or your growth because you prepared for it. That's what money really is. It's not just currency, it's confidence. Confidence to say, I don't have to stay somewhere I don't belong because I have options. And if you think financial awareness is only for people with a lot of money, you're wrong. It matters even more when you don't have much, because the habits you build with little are the same habits that will sustain you when you have more. If you can't manage 100, you won't magically manage 10,000. The number doesn't change the discipline. The discipline changes the number. This is also about building, not just surviving. Saving is one thing, but building independence means growing, investing, learning, multiplying. It doesn't mean risking it all on a gamble. It means studying enough to make informed decisions. It means asking questions instead of pretending you understand. It means refusing to let fear keep you in the dark, because knowledge is wealth, and once you have it, nobody can take it from you. Financial awareness is also self-respect. When you track your money, when you spend with intention, when you build for your future, you're telling yourself, I am worth stability. I am worth security. I am worth building something that lasts. Because here's the truth. Money won't solve every problem, but it will remove the pressure of problems that don't need to exist. And when you don't have that pressure, you can focus on your purpose. Some people might call you stingy or too serious or boring. But let me tell you something. Those same people will be the first to ask you for help when they run out. Don't let the noise distract you. Discipline now creates freedom later. Temporary sacrifices create permanent stability. And nothing feels better than knowing you are not controlled by debt, not controlled by impulse, not controlled by fear. Now, will it always be easy? No, you'll be tempted. You'll want to ignore the budget, to buy what feels good, to look the other way when the numbers sting. But financial awareness is like a mirror. It shows you the truth. And if you're brave enough to keep looking, eventually you'll see progress. You'll see growth. You'll see a woman who didn't hide from her reality. She shaped it. So ask yourself, do you know where every dollar of your paycheck goes? Do you know how much debt you have or how much savings? Do you have a plan for your future, or are you just hoping it works out? Because hope is not a strategy. Awareness is. And until you get honest about your money, it will always control you. But the moment you face it, you take the power back. Money doesn't care if you're scared. Money doesn't care if you're uncomfortable. It will flow where you tell it to go, or it will disappear if you don't. That's why daily awareness matters. Checking your account, tracking your spending, being honest with yourself. It's not extra work. It's necessary work. Work that gives you peace, confidence, and freedom. At the end of the day, financial awareness is not about being rich. It's about being free. Free from fear, free from dependence, free from being stuck in places you don't belong. And that freedom, it starts with discipline. It starts with awareness. It starts with you. So tomorrow when you spend, when you say save, when you swipe that card, ask yourself, am I in control of this choice, or is it in control of me? Answer honestly, and you'll know exactly where you stand. Because the woman who masters her money doesn't just master numbers, she masters her life. Emotions are powerful. They can build bridges, or they can burn them. They can guide you, or they can mislead you. The difference is not whether you feel emotions. Everybody does. The difference is whether you control them or they control you. And here's the truth. Emotional control is not about ignoring your feelings. It's about mastering your response. Because the woman who can control her response controls the outcome. Think about the last time someone pushed your buttons. Maybe it was a rude comment, an unfair judgment, or an unexpected problem. In that moment, your body reacted before your brain had time to catch up, heart racing, voice raising, words flying out, and later, regret. Because in the heat of the moment, you reacted out of impulse, not intention. That's the trap. Reacting is easy. Responding with grace, that's strength. Grace doesn't mean weakness. Grace doesn't mean letting people walk all over you. Grace means holding your ground without losing your balance. It means standing firm without screaming. It means being calm enough to choose the right words instead of throwing out the first ones that come to mind. Anyone can shout, anyone can snap, but it takes a strong woman to stay steady when everything around her is trying to pull her off center. Here's the mistake most people make. They think emotional control is about pretending they're not upset. But pushing emotions down doesn't make them disappear. It just makes them build up until they explode. Real control is not pretending you don't feel. It's feeling it fully and then deciding how to handle it. Anger is real. Frustration is real. Hurt is real. But just because it's real doesn't mean it has to run the show. Imagine a storm. You can't stop the clouds from rolling in. You can't stop the rain from falling. But you can decide whether you stand in the middle of it unprotected or whether you take shelter, wait it out, and come back stronger. That's emotional control. You don't stop the storm. You manage yourself through it. And let's be honest, people will test you. They'll say things to provoke you. They'll act in ways that are unfair, disrespectful, even cruel. You cannot control their behavior, but you can control how much power you give them. When you react out of impulse, you hand them your power. You give them control over your mood, your words, your energy. But when you respond with grace, you keep your power. You decide the outcome, not them. Here's the truth. Your reaction can escalate a situation or end it. It can make people respect you more, or it can make them dismiss you. It can leave you proud of yourself, or it can leave you regretting what you said. That's how much power your response holds. And the woman who masters her emotions is not controlled by others because she doesn't let their behavior dictate hers. Now, does that mean you'll always get it right? No. You'll slip. You'll snap. You'll regret words you wish you could take back. But emotional control is a practice. Every time you pause before responding, you get stronger. Every time you breathe before speaking, you build resilience. Every time you choose grace over impulse, you build respect for yourself and from others. And here's what people don't realize: emotional control isn't just about conflict. It's about decision making. How many bad choices are made in the heat of emotion? Overspending because you were stressed. Overeating because you were sad. Saying yes because you felt guilty. Saying no because you were angry. Emotion-driven decisions feel good in the moment, but they cost you later. Controlled responses save you. They protect your future from your present impulse. There's a reason people admire calm leaders. Not because they never feel pressure, but because they don't let pressure decide for them. They pause. They assess. They respond. That's influence. That's strength. And as a woman, when you carry that strength, you stop being shaken by every mood around you. You stop being manipulated by guilt, fear, or anger. You become steady. And steady is powerful. But here's something important: emotional control doesn't mean silence. It doesn't mean bottling things up until you explode. It means expressing yourself clearly, directly, respectfully. Saying what needs to be said without the chaos of yelling or the sting of insults. Your voice can be strong without being loud. Your presence can be commanding without being aggressive. And your words can be powerful without being destructive. Practice this. When emotions rise, pause, 1 breath, 1 second, 1 reminder: I control me. That tiny pause gives your brain time to catch up with your feelings. It gives you space to choose words that reflect who you are, not just how you feel in the moment. And that choice, that's maturity. That's discipline. That's strength. People may not remember exactly what you said, but they will remember how you handled yourself. Did you lose control, or did you keep it? Did you throw fire on the situation, Or did you calm it down? Did you react like everyone else? Or did you rise above it? The answer to those questions shapes your reputation, your relationships, and your self-respect. Let's be clear. Grace doesn't mean tolerating disrespect. You can draw a line firmly without exploding. You can say, "I will not accept that," without screaming it. And you can walk away from situations that don't deserve your energy without proving anything to anyone. Grace is not weakness. Grace is discipline, and discipline is power. At the end of the day, emotional control comes down to one truth. Your emotions are signals, not steering wheels. They tell you something, but they don't get to drive. You get to drive, and when you drive with grace, you end up where you want to go instead of somewhere you regret. So the next time someone tests you, the next time a situation rises, the next time your emotions surge, remember this: anyone can react. Few people can respond. Choose to be the one who responds, because the woman who controls her emotions doesn't just control her words, she controls her life. Growth is not a one-time event. It's not something you do once in a while when you feel like it. Growth is a daily discipline. It's the decision to get a little sharper, a little stronger, a little wiser every single day. And here's the truth: the world doesn't stay still. If you're not growing, you're falling behind. If you're not learning, you're repeating. And if you're not sharpening your skills, life will blunt them for you. Consistent growth is not about big leaps. It's about steady steps. People wait for the perfect moment, the perfect opportunity, the big breakthrough. But the women who actually win are the ones who commit to daily improvement. They read a page. They practice a skill. They listen to something that stretches their mind. They stay curious, and because they do it consistently, their growth compounds. Tiny improvements stacked over time become transformation. Think about it. If you read just 10 pages of a book every day, that's over 3,000 pages a year. That's 10, maybe 15 books. If you practice a skill for just 15 minutes a day, that's over 90 hours in a year. Small efforts don't feel dramatic in the moment, but they build results that are undeniable. The difference between the woman who invests in growth daily and the one who doesn't. 10 years later, it looks like two completely different lives. But here's the problem: too many people waste their time feeding their mind junk. Endless scrolling, gossip, drama, noise. Hours spent consuming information that doesn't add any value. And then they wonder why they feel stuck, uninspired, or unmotivated. If you put junk in, you get junk out. But if you feed your mind with knowledge, with wisdom, with challenges that make you think, you get clarity, creativity, and confidence. Consistent growth also means humility. You have to be willing to admit you don't know it all. You have to be willing to learn from others even when it feels uncomfortable. The woman who thinks she has nothing left to learn has already stopped growing. But the one who stays a student, she keeps evolving. She keeps surprising people. She keeps unlocking doors that others thought were locked. And growth isn't just intellectual. It's emotional, relational, and practical. It's learning how to handle stress better than you did last year. It's learning how to communicate more clearly, how to listen more deeply, how to love more wisely. It's sharpening the way you handle money, the way you handle time, the way you handle yourself. Because growth isn't just about adding new knowledge. It's about improving the way you live. The best part: consistent growth builds confidence, not fake confidence, not confidence based on appearance or achievements. Real confidence, the kind that comes from knowing you're capable because you've invested in yourself day after day. When you've put in the work to sharpen your mind, strengthen your skills, and expand your knowledge, you walk into rooms differently. You don't have to prove yourself. You already know yourself. Let's be clear, growth doesn't always feel exciting. Some days it's boring. Some days you don't feel like reading the chapter, practicing the skill, or listening to the podcast. But consistency is about doing it anyway. Discipline now creates freedom later. Growth now creates opportunities later. And the woman who shows up daily, even when it's not glamorous, is the one who becomes unstoppable. Think about bamboo. For years, nothing seems to happen. You water it, you nurture it, you stay consistent, and you see almost no progress. But underground, the roots are spreading, getting stronger, preparing. And then one day, it shoots up feet in the air in just weeks. That's what consistent growth looks like. Invisible at first, frustrating at times. But when the results show, they're undeniable. And here's the key: don't compare your growth to anyone else's. Everyone's path is different. Everyone's timing is different. The woman you're comparing yourself to may be on chapter 20, while you're still on chapter 5. That doesn't mean you're behind. It means you're on your own story. Stay focused on your progress. Ask yourself, am I better today than I was yesterday? Am I sharper this month than I was last month? That's the only comparison that matters. The beautiful thing about growth is that nobody can take it from you. They can take your job. They can take your money. They can take your possessions. But they cannot take what you've learned, what you've practiced, what you've built inside yourself. That's yours forever. And the more you invest in it, the more unshakable you become. Growth also prepares you for opportunities before they even come. Too many people wait until they're in the moment to prepare. They wait until they need the skill, until the opportunity shows up, and then they scramble. But the women who are ready, they've been preparing daily. They've been sharpening quietly. So when the door opens, they don't hesitate. They walk through it confidently because they've already done the work. And here's the truth: life will test you. Challenges will come. Stress will hit. And when it does, the question is, did you grow strong enough to handle it? Did you prepare yourself when things were calm so you could handle the storm? Because growth is not just for when life is easy. Growth is what equips you for when life is hard. So, what does consistent growth look like in daily practice? It's reading instead of scrolling. It's asking questions instead of pretending you know. It's trying again instead of giving up. It's spending your commute listening to something that builds you instead of something that drains you. It's replacing excuses with effort. It's making the choice every single day to invest in yourself because you are your greatest asset. At the end of the day, growth is a habit, not a phase. And the women who master it don't wait for motivation, they build discipline. They know that one page read today, one skill practiced today, one new lesson learned today, it all adds up. And one day, when they look back, they'll realize the woman they became wasn't built in a day. She was built daily. So ask yourself, what are you feeding your mind today? What skill are you sharpening? What lesson are you learning? Because if you're not growing, you're staying the same. And staying the same in a world that keeps moving forward is just another way of falling behind. Choose growth every day, even in small ways, because consistent growth doesn't just make you smarter. It makes you stronger, wiser, and ready for anything. And that woman, the one who grows daily, is the woman who can't be stopped. At the end of the day, habits are not just routines. They are choices that shape your identity. Every decision you make, every small action you repeat is casting a vote for the kind of woman you are becoming. You don't need to master everything at once. You just need to start, and you need to stay consistent. Because real transformation doesn't happen in giant leaps. It happens in daily steps. These 16 habits are not rules, they're tools. Tools to help you carry yourself with strength, to protect your peace, to sharpen your mind, and to build a life that reflects the woman you truly are. Discipline over impulse, growth over comfort, purpose over distraction. That's how you stand out. That's how you rise above. So start today. Pick one habit. Practice it. Then add another. Let them stack, let them compound, let them build momentum. Because the woman who shows up for herself daily becomes unstoppable. And when you master these habits, you won't just change your days, you'll change your life.